controller, at first it seems like somebody just took a DualShock 2, cut the wire, gave us triggers, and stacked a logo, a little button logo in the middle. Frankly, that's what they did. But it also has the 6-axis features, which, despite being slightly useless for some games, it works out when people do use it in a non-gimmicky way. If only the Wii could work like that. Our dreams will never be seen. Now let's compare. I can't really compare exclusive titles because, in my opinion, PS3 exclusives kicks the shit out of the 360 exclusives, which consists of war. And there's nothing wrong with that. I fucking love a good war. But I don't need every single game to be about fucking war. I do like my nice little kiddie platformers that take me back to the days of childhood when you were busy kicking ass in Spyro the Dragon and Super Mario 64. Now, let's see. Let's compare the two controllers before we get to the systems themselves. Now, the PS3 standard is wireless, and it's chargeable out of the box, and I'm serious about that. So, 360, I think the standard's wireless now, although you can still buy the wired ones for pretty cheap, but the wireless is, I'm on the bullshit side in the sense that you have to buy a fucking rechargeable battery and a cable from Microsoft. Shouldn't that be out of the box? Like this? Just plug a USB cable in and it charges. And the battery life on this thing is long. Even when it says battery life low, I can still get a good 30 to 20 minutes left on this thing. Whereas on this, I usually don't find out the battery's running out until I'm in the middle of a serious Call of Duty match. Next thing I know, I go to make the final winning headshot and it's a tie game. I go to aim and pull. Battery dead. The battery life is fucking terrible. And in terms of the controller design, I mean, the controller is bulky. I'm gonna say that at the most. It's better than the original Duke that came out with the original Xbox, but it's not much of a big improvement. I mean, and the D-pad sucks. If you plan on getting Street Fighter 4 and you have a 360 and a PS3, save yourself the trouble. Get yourself the PS3 version solely because fighting games mainly use D-pads for your precision. And the PS3 D-pad is the same as it's been since the original PlayStation, which was based off a Super Nintendo controller. And as we all know, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Nintendo was a kick-ass game. And I never played it. I just know that. So yeah, this would be better off for fighting games. And speaking of which, Tekken 6. You would think that Tekken would be a PS3 exclusive. It's not. Do yourself a favor, get the PS3 version anyway, because I'm sure there's plenty of bugs in the 360 version. That's just the lunch key. And that's just probably a guess. So yeah. The controllers both feel this good, although if you're holding if you've been playing a PS3 a lot like me, you know, nice and comfortable, it sort of molds into your hand, and then you go back to playing a 360 just because your friend wants you to break in some new game with him, it's like a fuck. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Now, instead of the ring of light that the 360 has, where, you know, certain quadrants light up for controller numbers, PS3's got a simple thing. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Little lights, little numbers above it. Short, sweet, and simple. And to register the controller with the system, you don't have to press a button on the controller and a button on the system. Just insert the charge cable that comes with the system, insert into controller when you get a new one or something. Turn on system and controller. Boom. Hell of a lot more effective than having to press 2 buttons to get the damn controller to work. Now let's talk about some of the extra features the PS3 has to offer us. The online. Let's put it this way. Xbox Live, but free. Slightly better than an Xbox Live, in the sense that whenever you turn the system on, you are not being shoveled with a bunch of useless advertisements that you couldn't give 2 flying fucks about when all you want to do is check and see what demos are out. And even then, you just want to turn it on so you can play a quick round of Wolfenstein before you play Call of Duty. Whereas on this, it's nice and user-friendly. It doesn't shove the useless advertising bullshit down your throat. You sign in, you have a little thing, account management, home, which kind of sucks, and the store. The PlayStation Store, in my opinion, is vastly superior to the Xbox Live Marketplace. Some of you are going to be thinking, how the fuck is that possible? I'll tell you. 1, there's no fucking microtransactions. It's US dollars, or euros, pounds, wherever the hell you live. Yen if you're in Japan. It's in fucking dollars. No, not those bullshit Microsoft points, which are still confusing to me to this day. Whereas you want to get a game that's, 800 Microsoft points, you have to get the 1,000, and that's 12 fucking bucks right out of your pocket. Whereas on this, if the Little Big Planet costume is $2, no hassle. $2 up front with the tax. And then there's the PlayStation Wallet where you can, get money into it and all that shit. Frankly, I just use my grandpa's credit card, I pay him the money up front, I get what I need. End of story. Microsoft is a bit of a hassle. 1 point for the PS3 solely for the fact that the PlayStation Store is not a fucking hassle to use. The content is essentially the same, only, you can't really expect a lot of exclusive, really high quality content on the PlayStation Store, but for what you get, it's fucking incredible. I will leave it at that for now. Let's see. What the system can do. Obviously, the 360 was released in 2005. The PS3 was released in 2007. 2 years extra in development. Which means it doesn't have anything equivalent to the Red Ring of Death, save for the Yellow Light of Death. Sony has refused to acknowledge it, however, it happens a lot less likely than the Red Ring. And people will say, Microsoft fixed the Red Ring. If it was built into the system from when it was first produced, it will be hard as shit to iron that bug out. It's simple technical knowledge. Right there. And I didn't even design the system. I just know this shit. Graphics and processor capability. 360 uses run-of-the-mill computer parts right there. And now I'm going to be getting into the kind of geeky sort of stuff. So, yeah, you might want to either skip to the next video where I get into depth or whatever. So, as I'm saying, the 360, it uses run-of-the-mill computer parts. And by run-of-the-mill, I mean you can probably find it in any specialty computer store and just, put it in your computer, upgrade the RAM, hard drive, graphics card, all that good stuff. And here's a little useless knowledge for you. The 360 was rushed into release in 2005 because NVIDIA, who makes graphics cards for our PCs, and also made the graphics unit for the original Xbox, was discontinuing the graphics chip used for the original Xbox. So, Microsoft, running out of basically drawing up whatever NVIDIA had left, needed to come to a replacement, which was why the 360 was rushed to delivery and gave us the Red Ring of Death. But hey, can we expect it from Microsoft? I mean, look how buggy Vista was when it first came out. I got Vista Home Premium on my laptop right now, and let me tell you, it runs fucking smooth. But that still doesn't excuse why they couldn't have worked the kinks out of it in the first place. If Microsoft had a point, I take that away because they rushed it into development because of stupid decisions on their end. PS3. It uses specially designed components for it. It uses special processors, graphics processing units, all that other shit. And, you know what? It makes the games look a hell of a lot better. The downside, as programmers know, and this is where it kind of gets geeky again, it's hard to program for. Now, I will quote Gabe Newell, founder of Valve, on this, where he said it was a disaster for him to program on the PS3. In Sony's defense, however, Mr. Newell, I will say this. You are used to programming on PCs, which have virtually remained unchanged for the last decade. And the 360 is basically a PC you hook up to your TV. There's bound to be some hardware code variations in it, but that's to be expected. I mean, it's not a PC, it's a console. So you can expect that. However, since the PS3 is using specially designed parts to it, the programming at first is going to seem like hell, especially if you're used to programming on a PC. So, it's to be expected to have programming issues. There's still no reason to call it a disaster. I mean, look at the Jaguar. It was hard to program for that, but there were still some good games on it. I mean, it had the best console version of Doom, even if it was silent. But then you just turn on the Slayer, and then you just, start kicking ass to that.